Alrighty, guys, what is up? Welcome back. Okay, AMC. We're gonna go over the scenarios that I have based on the cycle, and right now we're on the final days of the POI. So the point of interest here should end this week. Remember, we do give it that small window, plus or minus 2 days, and right now AMC is still going to be respecting this level of support. So that's good. That's good news. That's a good sign. And the markets right now are turning around a little bit, so that's also something to think about, the crypto markets. But yeah, let's get right to it, man. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the yearly parallel channel. You guys already know how this works. This is the year-long channel on AMC, and we talked about the descending channel here, but now we're starting to see signs that AMC is reversing back up. And remember, on the last video, I talked about the two volatility zones that we've experienced in the previous 2 years and that we haven't experienced any this year. So this is where the scenarios are coming in, because if we take that correlation, we know that in the past we have had two volatility zones on each one. And this is new findings, guys. So this is not something that we've looked at before. This is something that I just covered on that video. Okay, so taking this, we can now talk about the larger parallel channel here. And this is, where we talk about the support, the parallel, and the volatility zone. So remember, the volatility zone, we get in and out very quickly. We've experienced that here in January. In June, we got out for 240 days. I'm going to come back and talk about that. And then we have it right here. It tests it. And then as well in August. So all of these have came in this zone, but gotten out very quickly. Okay. So if we look at these two, this is where I'm going to bring over these boxes. Okay. So these are little boxes. Both of these are going to be 240 days in length. This one's a little bit bigger, but this is telling us that we're outside of the volatility zone and outside of the support zone. Okay, and the last time that we talked about this, okay, we were hoping for a reversal and sort of, mimicking what happened in January. So we wanted to see on this point of interest, we wanted to see it come in the channel and do the same thing, because, every single year we had the correlation of AMC trading sideways inside the parallel channel for 120 days, right? Right here, and right here. AMC did not do that once it fell below, and now we have basically the inverse of what happened back here. So because we've been outside this zone for so long, it's been already a little bit over that 240-day mark, and we're coming into this point of interest. Well, I made some scenarios based on this analysis. Let's take away these boxes. And let's also bring up the 3-month candles. Right, so I talked about these on the previous video, and this was the projection I made. I said that, if AMC is bullish on these next two POIs, so remember, we have the one in June that is happening right now. We have one coming up in August, and then, it's every 2 months, and then the next one is in October. So all of these have to do with this projection, right? We have two scenarios here. The first scenario is going to be a more bullish scenario on AMC, right? We have it, kicking off and coming up to a level of resistance on this point of interest. So here in June, end of month, we do have the POI right now that could happen in the next few days. And if it does, we would have something kick off very quickly. Now, this would be a type of Elliott wave, impulse Elliott wave setup that eventually gets up to the $25 to $30 range that we talked about on the macro pennant pattern. Remember, if it breaks above that, that is where you can potentially have a short squeeze. And that is, you do have to look at technicals in the end, but if it does break that threshold, that volume threshold, this thing can keep going. This is just basically looking at the fibs and the ratio levels based on historical patterns. So, and this happened before. If you guys take a look at Lucid, Lucid had done this previously in its chart, and you can see the same kind of setup. It just creates that impulse wave and just keeps riding on the way up before coming down. Okay, this is like a pretty bullish scenario here, and things would have to happen pretty quickly for that to be the case. All right, scenario number 2, it is a little bit more bearish. Okay, similar setup, but it does come down in the short term, and this is because the markets are close to peaking. So because the markets are close to peaking, you guys know that in the past, when AMC has ran on these POIs, it has came down with the market. So the market naturally brings that pressure down, and unfortunately, it does bring a bunch of stocks down with it. So if AMC came down below, you can also see that we would be testing a descending parallel channel. So this right here is considered a parallel channel. AMC would come down and then hopefully spring up very quickly. Now, this scenario is the bearish one, obviously, and I've said this before. I wouldn't want AMC to cross below in this specific case, in this POI, because it makes it more likely that things would drag on for a little bit, considering that now we would be testing some kind of double bottom setup. Now, double bottom setups can be bullish, but normally they take some time to develop. So this would be in hopes that AMC would just have a spring. You know, the Wyckoffs like that spring setup here, and that AMC would start climbing up very quickly. So both of these are they're lined up with the points of interest, and the patterns that you're looking at here line up with historical setups that we've tracked before. So they're not just random patterns or anything like that. These are lined up specifically to fit with these POIs that we track, and so are the levels as well. Okay, so both of these scenarios, they're bullish scenarios. I don't have a bearish scenario because I think AMC is looking very, very good. I talked about on the stream earlier that, you know, if you were comparing AMC and Nikola, for example, this is where you do have to look at the fundamentals, right? Because in the cycle, we don't track fundamentals the same way to predict what the stock is going to do. But once we do figure out the cycle analysis part of it, then we take the fundamentals and we ask ourselves, right? Is AMC a good stock? Is it a good company? Why would they short this thing down to a penny like these other stocks that have been shorted to that extreme, right? So like Nikola, for example, we had Nikola come up back in 2020, and it basically created this like torpedo effect. And now you're starting to see it come up. But it was doing that for so long because there was so much uncertainty as well. So these shorts took that opportunity, and it fell, you know, a lot, man. It went into the dollar range. So we don't want to see that happen with AMC. I'm still bullish about the fact that it's holding where it's at right now, and I think scenario 1 is more likely. But you do have to consider every possibility in the market, guys. Every possibility is important. You know, this is my whole thing. If we're going to get something like this, you do have to look at the macro patterns as well. And remember that we are right now trading at a green candle on the 3-month chart. You're going to see it on the monthly chart as well. But this is very good stuff that we're finally starting to see that turn around. Again, I'll pull this guy up here. The yearly channel. Take away the 3-month. And you can even see it on this, that this would still be pretty valid because fake outs happen all the time. Okay, we've seen this happen with AMC over and over again. Okay, on the parallel channel, this. Okay, you can see the same thing right here and right down here. Okay, this is just a macro version of that. So it falls below the channel and then it comes back in. So you have a very brief fake out, guys. Go pull up the Lucid chart. It'll show you the same thing. This happened, I believe, in 2021 when everything was going up, and Lucid came up later because it does track a different cycle, but it did the same thing. It fell below, and then on scenario 1, I have the second one here, but scenario 1, it did have that spring effect, and it looked very similar to this. Okay, and all of these you can see are coming in and out of the channel. They come up and they test the same level that we track on the volatility zone. The volatility zone would be right around that $28 level if you do extend this up to that point. So this is another thing to track as well with levels. You could see that with the volatility trend line here, extend it, it does come up and touch the same range. Okay, guys. Awesome. All right, so that is it for this video, man. Just want to cover these little scenarios I have if these POIs are going to be positive here. Otherwise, like I said, the second scenario does outline a bearish one in the short term, but in turn, it does turn into a bullish one later. Okay. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, make sure you drop them down below, and make sure you guys subscribe, guys. Also, check out the website TWE Charts. I had the wrong link for some reason down below. I just realized that. So check it out, and there's going to be a lot of other stuff on there you can try out. We also have a Discord. We've been doing really good. I started a weekly challenge now. So if you want more info on that, go check that out. Pretty awesome stuff, guys. All right, you guys take care. See you on the next stream. Bye-bye.